Okay, thank you very much, Nicola.
Thank you. Thank you for the question, which was really interesting.
Thank you. I just have a final question to Milan Gabor, if just 1 minute for us to share. Milan, you talk a lot about cybersecurity aspects in lighting. I just a question if you really assist in your experience to strong hacker attack to lighting system up to now, or is something that you didn't notice really, or you're not reported by your customers and your experience?
On a large scale, we haven't seen the smart lighting systems to be attacked directly, but we have seen a lot of IoT devices which are used in botnets when they were attacking DNS systems in history. But since majority of those smart devices, they come with let's say default passwords, and user never change them. And I can tell this from our own experience when we were doing the penetration testing. We found in almost every case that there were IoT devices with default username settings, and that's a really easy job. But regarding the smart lightings, I haven't seen, but it's really, it's an area we really like to dig into, because we're playing with some IoT devices that we purchased, and we played with some IoT devices that were that we were hired. And it's, as I said, this development world for IoT, I see it as it was in normal development world like 20 years ago. So the same security issues are popping up. So the Stack Overflows, default credentials, hidden accounts, in IoT devices that we have seen now with some of the vendors. So that's actually reality.
Okay, thank you, Milan. So I can switch on my light in a safe way for the moment, but we do not for the future. Thank you very much.
Yeah, but I would gladly take a look into it. So because it's a challenge for us as ethical hackers.
For sure.
Yeah, I have to leave now. If somebody has any additional question, or you can contact me, because I have a doctor appointment that I cannot miss in this Corona times. If I miss it, then I will be scheduled for like 2 weeks again. So
thank you very much, Milan, for your availability.
Okay, then bye-bye all.
If somebody else maybe from our panelists, so from our companies, have any questions to other companies, please take your floor.
No, I just wanted to pop the idea that about the new next 2 years working program of the cluster on digital industry. I think our competences are very complementary to yours. So if any of the companies are interested to form a kind of consortium, there is a communication call which will come out in the next work plan. I think it's 2022. So looking forward to think together on that.
Thank you very much, Sultan. Anybody else? If not, I will switch to Marielle, so we can speak further about the funding opportunities.
Yes, thank you very much, Marta, and thank you also to all the participants for your presentations and for the explanations which has been given. We do hope that you will find the relevant partnership and also the relevant funding for your project idea. And this is actually a good transition with the next and final subject of this webinar, which is about the funding opportunities. Our goal is not, of course, to review opportunities that are currently existing at the European scene, but just to give you some hints that could be useful for you, for the 6 companies who just presented their ideas, but also for the audience in a larger sense. We would like to give you 2 main examples. The first one is about the Cascade funding. So to give you an idea of how it works and some examples of open calls which are currently open. and then some elements regarding EU grants specifically for SMEs in the context of the new Horizon Europe program. So firstly, concerning Cascade funding, this funding mechanism is not so much known to all companies. So we found it relevant to give you some elements on how it works and what is it. So the Cascade funding process is the following. So it is a funding instrument which is not directly managed by the European Commission, but it is managed by projects which act as intermediaries and which are selected by the European Commission. So the notion of Cascade is really the best illustration on how it works. It means that a given budget of several million euros usually is attributed to a large project, which is in charge then of redistributing these funds to various SMEs and various projects. So which type of actions are supported within this Cascade funding project? It could be support to innovation with actions such as feasibility studies, market studies, support for fundraising, but also support for the access to new markets. But it can be also direct financial support with the redistribution of the financing. The European Commission has decided to put in place this process in order to delegate the financial part of innovation, and to provide a more, let's say, agile way of redistributing funding. So this funding mechanism is usually addressed to SMEs, so including startups and very recent companies. And in some specific cases, it could be also relevant to research organizations and to medium and large companies. And as I said, this funding is managed directly by the consortium of partners of the larger project, and this project being itself funded by the H2020 program. It means that this project in charge of Cascade funding is itself in charge of the open calls, of the way the funding are managed, redistributed, and also in terms of eligibility conditions. So concretely, this financial support to third party is organized by sub-calls, by open calls, which are entirely managed by the main H2020 project, not by the European Commission. And so the specific procedures in terms of opening and closing dates of the calls, in terms of budget, specific topics, LGBT conditions, evaluation, and so on, is managed by this main project, not by the European Commission. The applications can be done individually or with small consortium, depending on the call conditions. So depending on the specific conditions which has been decided by the main project. Usually, the application procedure is really much lighter than classical European projects and is always in English. The funding is really targeting small, short, and focused projects in the range usually between 6 to 18 months maximum. The main advantage also, especially for small companies which are not very familiar with European funding processes, is that the administrative and financial reporting is usually much lighter than classical projects. And there are also much less competition than the direct funding projects. So the chances of success are much higher. The funding usually is maximum 60,000 euros per SME. But of course, as I said, the budget conditions, eligibility conditions, and so on depends on each project. So the main question is how to find these open calls. So on this website that you can see here, and the presentations will be made available later on the Cyber Secure Light various websites and so on. This is the main portal on which the European Commission announce the open calls which are launched by these projects. So here you can have access to the open call specifications, and then the link to the dedicated project websites on which you will have the possibility to see all the elements, guide for applications, and so on related to this open calls. But really, this is the main portal on which the European Commission published this open calls details. So as part also of the work we have done in Cyber Seculite, we have tried to identify open calls which could be relevant to these topics of cybersecurity, of smart building, and so on. So I'm giving you here some names of projects which could be relevant as example of Cascade funding. Of course, this list is not exhaustive at all, and the Cyber Seculite project partners are not involved in these funding projects. So in case you are interested in this funding mechanism, we do advise you to visit the website of these projects and to be in touch directly with the partners in these projects, which can provide you more concrete information on the open calls. So the first one is the project AI for EU, which aims at collecting the most critical AI challenges in the European industry, and then to provide the financial support in addressing these AI challenges. So the project is right now in the phase of collecting the AI challenges from the industry mainly. And so there is an open call which is currently open in order to collect these challenges, and the cutoff date being in few days on the 26th of January. And then there will be a call for solutions answering to these challenges that is going to be open from February to April. So it might be worth looking if any challenges are relevant to the subject of cybersecurity, smart building, and so on. And the companies which would like to support to find solutions to such challenges can get funds up to 70,000 euros for the 40 solution providers. And you have here the links on this project. The second project is called HubCap and is about a cyber physical system. And there is a call for experimentations, which is currently open till the beginning of March for the adoption of technologies in cyber physical systems, with the funding up to 75,000 euros for consortium of 2 SMEs. There is also a call open and managed by the NGI Next Generation Internet ESIF Lab project, which is about digital security and mainly electronic identity. And the second call is currently open till the end of June. Then you have also the project REACH, which is about the management of industrial and personal data. And there are several phases in an incubation program for SMEs with financial support for the development of experimentation. And the call here is open till the middle of February. Three other examples of projects which will have a call open either right now or in the future. So the next one is a Smart for All project, and it is about low energy computing in various industries. And there is a call for cross-domain technology transfer experiments, which is open till the beginning of March, but several other calls will be open this year and next year. You have also the DIH for CPS project, which is about cyber physical systems and embedded systems. And there is a call for experiments in the subject of digital twins, AI, augmented reality, dashboard controls, and so on. And the call will be open in the second half of this year. I don't know yet the date, but it's worth monitoring this project specifically on the website that you can see here. And finally, we can also mention the InnoSub project Meta Building, which will be about ICT and buildings as well. And they will have they will provide innovation vouchers within their Grow and Harvest program later during this year, and they have now the first call open related to innovation vouchers to help SMEs to build their innovation strategies. But the most interesting calls will be the second and third call later in this year. So it's worth also giving a look to this project. To finish quickly on this part related to funding opportunities, as you know, of course, we are with this new year in 2021. This is the time that the Europe program will be launched officially on the 1st of January this year. But concretely, we do expect to have concrete calls later in this year. Let's hope during this springtime. It means, of course, that the Horizon 2020 projects which have started are still running, and this is the case of the project I presented just before. But within the Horizon Europe subject, there are various opportunities that could be relevant, even if the detailed work programs have not yet been published officially yet. So it's worth mentioning, firstly, the EIC, European Innovation Council, which is going to launch specific calls related to the Pathfinder, but also to the Accelerator program. So as you can see on this illustration on the right, the Accelerator funding is really done for extremely innovative companies, mainly SMEs, which are really disruptive on their markets. And the Commission, via the EIC, is willing to provide support with grants and also with the equity investment up to 15 million euros. This is an extremely competitive call, and the success rates are quite, let's say, even very low. But however, this is really an important funding mechanism because it is addressed only to single companies, not with consortia. And it's also one of the unique funding mechanism in which equity funding are available. So within Horizon Europe program, let's say the rules of the game will change compared to Horizon 2020. There will be a pre-screening of proposals, and the number of resubmission will be limited. And it is expected that the first call will be for the full proposal will be closed by the middle of June. This has not been officially announced by the European Commission, so we do advise you to keep an eye on the various news from the EC and also from the clusters to which you are associated, because this will be an important funding mechanism for the European Commission. Of course, it's worth also giving a look to the various global challenges that the European Commission will launch. So it fits into this second pillar that you can see here in the middle of the screen. And there will be dedicated work programs related to digital, to security, to industry, to climate change, and to energy. And here, research and innovation actions, and also innovation actions, will be funded by the European Commission, to consortium, of course. But there will be open calls related to this area. You can give a look also to the joint undertakings, such as the Excel, the Euro HPC, and so on. And here you have the link on the of the funding and tender portal from the European Commission, on which all the, let's say, open calls are published, and that you have to look closely in case you would like to know which the funding opportunities are in the current period. So that's it mainly regarding this snapshot. You will have the links of all this website on the presentations that will be shared on the CyberSecureLite website. So it's already more than 12 o'clock. So now maybe just for the conclusion timing, I will give the virtual mic to Alberto in case you would like to conclude this final webinar for the CyberSecureLite Consortium.
Thank you very much, Marielle. It's a very pleasure to close this final event. So I just take really 1 minute to talk about this project. I think CyberSecureLite has been a very challenging project, I was personally impressed by the quantity of products in smart building that are concerned by cybersecurity issue. So I invite all the SMEs that have this speech today, and for sure all the SMEs that are connected to the clusters that took part in this project to use this new European initiative to improve their product and especially the cybersecurity aspect that affect the products. This is the final event, so it's time for greetings and thanks, and so really start from was the managing of this project today, that is Marielle and the staff of Pole SAS. All the clusters that take part in the project that I mentioned at the beginning, and you can find here, and all the companies for the pitches of today, and all the companies that took part in the different events in Europe, we have separately in the different clusters. And finally, in between the different clusters, I for sure thanks Elka and its project manager Marta, that was really essential for the good results obtained in this project. So this is really a short panorama, and finally a final remarks. We are working for sure to give a continuity to the project. So we one of the last delivery, the business strategy plan, where we want to give the lines, we want to continue this very fruitful and interesting exchange that we have in the cybersecurity life. So thank you very much to all the classes and people that work on the project.
Thank you very much, Alberto, for these last words, and thank you all for your participations, and bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Bio. Looking forward to the next journey together.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Ok, siamo rimasti io e te.